So this review is going to be on Banshee, or Sean Cassidy. He's one of the two X-Men from Giant Size X-Men that had previously appeared in the series. And he makes his first appearance in X-Men number 28 in 1967. Out of all the new X-Men, he's the one with the earliest appearance. It's a pretty good figure, especially for the time. I do actually kind of like this better than the Marvel Legends one done by Hasbro, even though it is smaller. One thing I don't like about it, though, is that he's got this stance that pretty much requires him to be in just one pose. Because if you tilt him forward, he becomes too heavy this way, and if you pose him a little bit back, he becomes too heavy the other way and falls over. So, yeah, having this thing, while it looks cool, doesn't really give lots of posing options. He does have this cool, I don't know what you got, glider wings, you would call it, I guess. However, they are very rough cloth, and I think if they used like a softer cloth, it would have been a little bit better. They are pinned or glued onto his arms and his legs, connected through the back here, and they're pretty solid. It's not, unless you yank it, it's not really gonna rip. But that does hinder posability a lot. You're not gonna get, you're not gonna get the full range of motion. I understand why they do it, but it kind of looks ridiculous to me. They have him in his screaming face, and yeah, he does need to scream to use his powers, but I just, after a while it gets kind of ridiculous. And this does a better job of the face sculpt than the Marvel Legends version does. And I like the color of the hair better. It's a little redder. It's not as blonde. His arms will go that far and that far. He will bend at the elbow. Has these wrists that bend, something that none of the other figures have. His head goes side to side, but it is at an angle too. So it's not truly side to side. His waist does turn, but you'll only get so far. His legs will go forward, and they will go back a little bit. So you can pose him like this, and it makes a pretty good flying thing. And that's another thing. I really wish that these had come with some sort of stand for the flying characters. Sean Cassidy is the heir to a small fortune and a castle in Ireland. He marries a girl from Northern Ireland, Maeve Rourke, and he becomes first a cop in Ireland, and then works for Interpol. He goes off on an assignment, and unfortunately doesn't know that his wife is pregnant. So he's on assignment in deep cover or something like that, and she gives birth to a daughter. She dies in an IRA bombing. Banshee's cousin, Tom, uh, starts to take care of takes care of the baby. When Sean comes back, of course, he's pretty upset and angry. He blames Tom for Maeve's death, and there's a physical altercation, and Banshee flies off, and Tom has a broken leg, which is permanently damaged, and he develops a limp. So Banshee has no clue that his daughter is still alive, and Tom is responsible or has taken responsibility for raising him. Sean is kind of upset. He leaves Interpol, and basically becomes a private detective. He's approached by shape-shifting mutant villain known as Changeling, who is working for Factor 3. But before he can escape and warn anybody, he's subdued and then forced into helping them by having this explosives headband put on him. Actually, Factor 3 that gives him both the code name and costume, which he wears as the Banshee. They manage to shut down the controls to the headband and basically freeing them. And then he aids the X-Men in battling Factor 3. The Sentinels, they capture a bunch of mutants, and he's one of the mutants that they capture. He fights Captain America and the Falcon, thinking they're part of the Secret Empire, who have been hunting mutants. For his powers, he has ultra and hypersonic abilities. He can create a deafening noise. He can stun people with a high intensity, low frequency blast. He can hypnotize people with the sound of his voice. He's able to have these great big concussion blasts, and he's done it with enough power to liquefy metal. He's able to see in the dark, using a kind of a form of echolocation. He's able to jam other sonic broadcast, radio, radar, stuff like that. His hearing is adapted to his powers, giving him this selective hearing. He's able to block out and isolate sounds. He's able to use the sound as propulsion to fly, and that's why he uses this cape here as a glider, basically. Stay tuned for my next review, which will be the last review of this all new, all different X-Men set.